Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of 30 Minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television. With me today is a veteran of the Nigerian stock market and someone who's been preaching the message of the market, even at times when the market seems to be going down. And I mean Malam Kasimu Kurfi, who is the Managing Director, Chief Executive of APT Securities Limited. Malam Kasimu, welcome to this program.
You're welcome. I'm happy to be with you.
Thank you. Let's start maybe from the beginning, because I recall you began your journey after university in the oil industry.
Yes.
But then you made the move that has more like changed your life.
Yes.
What prompted that and how did you start?
Well, actually, I will say that the African Petroleum, which is now the Ardova, is the one that gave me opportunity to come to Lagos. In my life, yes, I did my school in Kano, but I have never seen the crowd that I have witnessed in Lagos.
So you had your first time in Lagos with a typical northern
Yes.
attitude, maybe just like me, who thought that on the first day I went is the market day of Lagos.
When I saw the crowd, I couldn't believe it. I now ask, what are all this crowd doing? So they are on their own.
They are not working for
Yes,
government.
They
or
are
in
not
some
working for the
office.
government. I look back in the state, Katsina state, everybody is a civil servant. And here, everybody is on his own. So I give myself a target. I say, in the next 10 years, I want to be on my own.
So that was the
Yes, that's
beginning.
what the beginning. So
And how
when I
did
was
you
in the,
achieve that?
yes,
Yes.
when I was in the oil company, I said, this is not where to be. Because the business in the oil company, even if you are going to be a transporter, you need big money to own a trailer. I said, this is not. An opportunity come to New Africa Merchant Bank, I was there. When I was there in just 2 years, an opportunity come to reform New Dovco Finance, which is one of the oldest stockbroking firms, because today, New Dovco is over 40 years in the capital market. It's the first stockbroking in the whole entire northern 19th state. I started with them. Myself and Mohammed Balarabe were assigned to go and reform that. From there, I see the capital market. I see this is where I'm supposed to be, but I will ensure that I learn it and set my own. And that is how the journey started.
And you learned the ropes,
Yes.
You became a stockbroker and all of that.
Immediately, I joined there. I start learning the stockbroking firm. I go for dealing clerk. I qualified as a dealing clerk, authorized dealing clerk. Even though my background was accounting, I qualified and become a fellow accountant, chartered accountant of ICANN, fellow chartered accountant of stockbroker. But I see the opportunity, I look for a license, get others that have like mine, and we set APT. In fact, apt with the license issued. But when I look at the word apt, I say, look, this is not common in the North. Why don't I change it? That is why I say, instead of apt, let it be APT.
That's APT.
Yes, APT Securities.
So
I
the
keep
name
the
of the
name,
company.
but I emphasize that let it be APT. Many people ask me, what is this acronym? I say it's the English word of apt that I change it to APT because it's more easier for the Northerners to say APT than apt Securities. And that is how we come. And today, here we are.
From that time to now, are there more stockbrokers from this part of the country, or is still stagnant, the number?
Well, we had many, but some of them couldn't survive. Because at the time we have Tido Security, we have Sigma Security, we have Shiroro Security, we have Kundila Security, we have Gidonia Security, we have many of them that come.
That is the companies?
Yes, as the companies. But many of them couldn't see the light. And the simple reason is that the structure. We have a structure that makes us to live. Today, I have no doubt, among all the northern stockbroking firms, we are number one. And this is there in the record in terms of big deals, in terms of the expansion. And we are not only in stockbroking, we are into pension. We are not only into pension, we are into be-ready change. We are not only into be-ready change, we are into forex.
So you have diversified into different financial services.
We go into financial services. We even digress because we own Armeco, Arewa Metal Company. And this is purely an engineering company.
What is the story behind getting into that line of business?
Well, actually, in the early 90s or late 90s,
1990s.
Yes, we visited Alhaji Chanchangi. We say,
you mean Ahmadu Chanchangi,
yes,
the
well-known of the airline, yes,
transporter.
We visited them. We said we want to restructure Chanchangi Airline because ours at that time, the load factor is about 70% of the local travelers. So we say this company need to have a structure and bring it into the market, list it so that it will live beyond his life. We approached him with that.
Did he agree?
He didn't. He just said that if we can do it, look at Armeco. Are we willing to take it? We say we are ready.
At the time, he owned that Armeco.
He owned 73% of
company,
it.
right.
We took over from him, and today we are very proud. And very soon, Armeco will be listed in the Nigerian exchange.
What about all the other different companies? You mentioned APT.
Well. Yes.
Is it on the stock
yes, the APT
pension company?
The pension now we have merged with Tangerine, so it's Tangerine APT pension. And this is one area that, too, also is the matter of time will bring it into the market. So we want to make all these companies to live beyond us because history proves it. If you want to leave a legacy, if you want a company to go beyond you, then that company must visit capital market. History shows it both in Nigeria and beyond that those companies that are listed, they must have adherent to corporate governance. And once you adhere to corporate governance, the company have a ventilation. Any ownership that won't ventilate out, you go to the market, sell your shares and get your money. But
some people are concerned about maybe control and all of that, that if you allow others to come into your business, they may take it over.
Look, the question is that today we hear Dangote Cement. Dangote Cement control 4 trillion, over 4 trillion of the market capitalization.
4 trillion naira of the capital market.
And that single company control not less than 20% of the market capitalization. He still owns 80%. But the structure that is on the ground, even if it's normal, you share it to the family. Even if they want to ventilate out, they take their shares to the market, they get their money. So you can have the control, but remember, you cannot live forever. But in the end of days, the inheritance, if they want to continue, they continue. If they want to ventilate out, the market is there to serve them. So anybody that needs money, you go to the market, you sell your shares, you get your money and say bye-bye. The company remains the same.
Is that the logic probably that informed BUA, the other well-known company in cement and flour that actually came to the market through your own
That is the logic, but let me
midwifing?
tell you.
Yes.
I think I take the chairman of BUA. He has a big heart. What he demonstrated to the government, to the Nigerian, to the capital market is a lesson for all of us.
Why?
He took Sokoto Cement when it has a capacity of just 500 million metric ton. Today, as I'm talking to you, Sokoto Cement produced 4 million metric ton.
From 500,000.
And he intends to take it to the higher level. Still they are responding. Look at Lafarge, who took Ashaka. Ashaka has 1 million capacity. Today, Ashaka remains with 1 million capacity. It's merged with Lafarge, but no expansion. And that shows to the world.
And Lafarge is even a bigger brand.
But I'm telling you, today, as I'm talking to you, BUA has more capacity than Lafarge in Nigeria. And what they did, they go to Edo State and they build Obu.
Another cement company.
3 million metric ton. He did not stop there. He moved to Adamawa. Now he is in Yola. He is building another 3 million metric ton. Just like what Dangote Cement did to Obajana. Obajana has 10 million metric ton.
But he went
to even Ogun State and built Ebeji. Ebeji has 6 million metric ton, more than the Shagama and the Owekaro size of Lafarge.
So all these expansions, are they being funded by money from the capital market
Yes.
or what?
Yes. You see, once you have a structure, the banks are ready to fund you. The World International Bank, the African Development Bank, World Bank are all ready to fund a structured industry. And that's what they want. And that shows that nobody will build Nigeria except Nigerians. Because today, we are net exporter. We don't import any single cement into this country. Despite the blue cycle, the Lapache has been in this country for over 50 years doing the same. We keep on importing. But when the Nigerians take the gold, now we are exporter. They are not here. Dangote cement is now in 17 African countries, and they are all in the name of Dangote cement. He is in Cameroon, he is in Senegal, he is in Ghana.
But talking about Dangote, what about the refinery? He's just getting that to start sometime
That is another line.
this year.
That
Is it coming or is it already on the stock market?
By September, Dangote Refinery will start production. And I assure you, in less than 2 years, it will be in the market. And that is another landmark. We keep on advising Nigerians, wherever they are, it's not enough to own a company. Let it be quoted. Airtel is quoted. MTN is quoted. Why not Gulo? Today, Gulo is a woman show. As long as it's not quoted, it only exists as long as he keep on alive.
But MTN has recently opened up to Nigerians. It has listed on the market and it sold shares. We hear it was even oversubscribed.
Yes. It shows you the MTN from the day one, they opened a window that carry Nigerians. So when they listed, those windows allowed the Nigerian to ventilate. And now part of them, they reduce it. They want to reduce their holding to only 60%, which is good. And more Nigerians are participating in MTN, and they see MTN not for MTN, they see MTN as on. And the same thing was Airtel. I respect Airtel for what they did to Nigerians. Airtel did not list Airtel Nigeria as MTN did MTN Nigeria only. Airtel, they list Airtel Africa. Today, they list it concurrently with the London Stock Exchange. So what Airtel you have is the same Airtel trade in London. So if you so wish, you can even decide to decouple your Airtel Africa in Nigerian exchange and take it to London exchange and trade and get sterling pound.
But all these businesses you are talking about that have gone to the stock exchange, businesses that are just maybe 20, 30 years old, what about all the big government-owned companies? Why aren't they listed? Why is the NNPC or the PPMC or the other arms
is the understanding
government
today
companies
all the
not
big
there?
companies in US, they don't own government. They are listed. We have seen it in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, in just 2 years, listed Aramco, which is the Aramco. And this Aramco that have listed, it's listed with a capitalization of over $2 trillion. It's the single entity that ever listed by the government across the world. But they make it possible and was highly subscribed. We had Carey, the MD of the group NNPC, said that in 2 years, they want to list it. I wish they list it in 1 year. Because as we are today, the government have no business investing much money into it. List this. If you look at the NLG, the LNG has been successful from the day one.
But it's not listed
yes,
on the market.
51% is owned by the multinational. Why can't the government list part of it? List it and let the government be free from all this heavy indebtedness they are going. They don't need to do it. They have the asset that they can list and take part of it, realize enough to be free from all the heavy indebtedness that people are talking. The same thing was NNPC, and it will be functional.
We'll continue with the conversation when we resume from the break. We'll go on now. Viewers, it is 30 minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television. We'll now go on a short break and resume in a while. Thank you, viewers. It is still 30 minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television. And my guest today is Malam Kasimu Kurfi, the Chief Executive of APT securities. Before we went on the break, we were talking about the non-listing of the big government assets like the liquefied natural gas, Nigeria liquefied natural gas, LLG, and the NNPC. And this is coming against the background of the Saudi listing of their own government-owned company, Aramco. Why is government usually reluctant to do this kind of things?
Well, to me, most of the time the government, what the argument they do that it doesn't hold. I rather see it at the background of it is more of the civil servant who want earn what he did not earn. Because the moment you listed the company, you subject it to the corporate governance, all other issue will not hold.
So,
but the government want to hold issue that there is no business. Let's give you example. The government have no business spending money in repairing roads. Today, it takes the federal government more than 20 years to just increase from 2 lanes to 3 lanes from Ibadan to Lagos.
Actually, the road from Abuja to Lokoja has been under construction since Obasanjo's regime, which is more than 20 years. All this,
for me, is for just the civil servant to have their own, which they have no business. I assure you, if today you let down Abuja to Kaduna in a private, you will not even see the kidnappers. Who will put his money and allow somebody to tamper with his business? No. You will identify all the criminals and deal with them and make sure that people follow the road 24 hours in a day. Because that is your business.
There is the example of the Lekki Road, which has a toll gate, which is run by a government, and I'm not sure it is that perfect, even though it is being run by a concessionaire.
You see, it is government. Whether it's state, whether it's local government, whether it's federal, it's still the same government. You don't hand over it to the private and hear any issue. Take the telecom. Any village you go, you will get GSM service. Is it the government that provide it? It's the private. And today the private, they are listed. Airtel is listed, MTN is listed, you can buy their shares, so anybody can own it. Yet there is no issue. Why is not? Today we have no light because it's still owned by the government.
But part of the light business has been privatized and it's
partial,
just been gulping more and more billions.
Because the government is still there. Look, hand over to the business people, you see it working.
But some people say that will be rampant capitalism where just the profit motive
not at all. Not at all. The government have other things to do. The government have other things to do. They don't need to concentrate on this. Nobody say that go and privatize custom. Nobody say that go and privatize security. No. Let the government concentrate where they are needed and let the business carry the business.
But you know, in Nigeria, the businesses have not shown much difference in from government-run businesses.
It shows.
Like, I've just given you the example of the privatized distribution companies, the electricity distribution companies.
Because the government still have their hand there.
A lot of public money is being pumped. I think at the last count, over 400 billion naira has been pumped.
As long as the government is there, that's what they will do. As long as you leave it to the private business, is business.
So you are advocating total hands
yes.
off
Have you ever heard when the MTA is no longer working or Airtel is no longer working? Irrespective of the cost of the diesel, they will pay and you will pay. But the service is there. Look, for the last 7 years, I'm not connected with any of the government power. Why? I sold my generator because I go to the independent and they provide me. We enter agreement that they will give me 95%, and they did.
And they are still doing so.
Yeah,
that is in Lagos where you live.
I'm telling you, I have been buying this light more than 50 naira for the last 5 years. I did not complain because it is worth it. And because it paid them to service me, they service me. We say that the government should concentrate where they need to do. Go for security, but let the privatize the business. Most of these roads are viable. If today you give a road from Lagos to Kano, a private company will dualize it, and you will see security light from Lagos to Kano, and there will be 24 hours people following that road without pothole, without insecurity. Nobody put his money and allowed somebody to disturb him.
But why do you think it's not happening?
It's not happening because the government doesn't understand that this business, they have not put their money. They should hands up. Give it to the private, they will do it. I came through MM2. Everybody knows it's a private.
Mohammed,
yes, the MM2 is working.
Yes.
For the past 20 years, nobody said the government budget is single kobo, and it is working. So let the government privatize most of this business and give it to those who put their money and get their money back.
But contrary to what you are saying, now the government is even not just contemplating, it's already spent money trying to bring about another airline, government-owned airline. What is your take on that?
You see, to me, the government have no business in that. We have Max Air is going international and no complaint. We have Air Peace, no complaint. So empower those one. Empower the private one. Give them a condition. When you reach certain level, don't be one-man show. Because today, yes, you see Max Air about, we know who behind it. If it is quoted, will it be that? No. Because Chanchangi was before carrying 70%, today it's no more. We don't want one-man business, one-man show. We want a business to be in the public, quoted, with structure, with the government, with the people that know the business, doing the business. You can own part of it. We have no problem with that.
But they say with airline, there is the national pride, carrying Nigeria's color and what have you. Look, that is part of the argument being made, and that it could create jobs as well.
Well, that is the argument. But what we want it, if they want to do it, let it be in such a way that more of private, not of the government. We don't want somebody to sit down at the ministry and give an air ticket. If you do that, it will not last.
Like what used to happen with the Nigerian Airways.
Today, we have seen Ibom Air. Yes, partially owned by the Akwa Ibom state, but it's doing well. Because you will not see any ministry of Akwa Ibom issuing boarding pass or ticket because they own an airline. They let the private to privatize it, to work on it. And today, go and see in the airline, people are subscribing to Ibom Airline because it kept to the time. And they keep on increasing. So we want the government to bring the private in the business and let it be, not own it. When they own it, it doesn't go. Our refineries are not working because it's owned by the government. Had it been they allowed the initial partial privatization go, today all of them they will be working.
But now we hear they are spending, say, in Kaduna Refinery, up to 40 billion naira a year without producing 1 liter of fuel.
Yes. Why? Because the government wants still remain relevant where they don't need to be relevant. Look, if you dash it out, believe me sincerely, we have people that have many filling stations. Take Rano, take Ashafa, take even Makipi. If you bring them, you give them this business, they know it, they have their filling station, they have they will make sure it works. And the next day you see it functioning. But the government doesn't want to do that. Why? I put blame to the civil servant because the civil servant, they believe that that is where they can give a note and get appointment. But in the private, you can't do it.
Yeah, but there's also the argument that the private is only driven by the profit motive. It's not concerned about the social implication of some actions, and maybe the private sector doesn't employ enough of the numbers that are needed to be employed in the country.
That is for a while. Today, do you know how many people MTN employ? Do you know how many people Airtel employ? Dangote's man, do you know how many thousand people he employ and he pay them well? The truth of the matter that nobody go into the business without employing the competent. But what you will do, you will not employ people that are redundant. Do nothing. And just because you know somebody, you get an appointment when you don't have the qualification. No. Chevron will not do that. Shell will not do that. Mobil, Exxon will not do that. So the same thing was any serious private business. Nobody employ people that are not employable. But if they allowed the private to come into it, the business will go better and better. Today, the people employed by Airtel, by MTN, by Glo is more than the entire people employed by Nitel. Why is Nitel?
Yeah, the government-owned telephone company.
So the government have to understand it, and even we individual. I cannot imagine with the filling station that across the nation by AA Rano is still AA Rano. Want it to be coated so that this business will live even after his life.
But you know, the stock market is not all rosy, I mean the capital market, because people burnt their fingers on the advice of a lot of stockbrokers like you in around the year 2020, when most people were encouraged to go into the market, and then it just disappeared because they took bank loans and then the shares were artificially manipulated.
That is very correct. My simple question is that because of unemployment, will you say your child will not go to school? By the time the opportunity comes, where will your child be if he did not go to school? So despite unemployment, everybody wants his child to go to school. So the same thing in the business, that is why it's a business, it's go up and come down. I give you example, Nestle. Nestle came to Nigeria in 1977 at 1 naira 76 kobo. Today Nestle is trading 1,400 per share. And I knew a person that invested just 100 naira in Nigerian bottling.
Yeah, the makers
and he got,
of
yes, he got Coca-Cola, he got 200 units. By 2004, I share it to his family over 7 million naira worth of.
That is, so the man died and you...
Yes, so the question is that the company can go up and come down, but it will remain. Everybody knows Nestle. They are not only into the baby food. Most of the water you see is Nestle. So we advise the investors, if you go to the market, you burn your fingers, remain in the market, you will learn it more. Because the market goes up and come down, and at the end of the day, it goes up. Today, our market capitalization is talking over 25 trillion, more than 2 times the budget of the whole federation.
But why is it that there seems to be a disconnect between the capital market and the real economy? I mean, where a lot of the real activities happen, and then this one is just some bubble, and people are making millions, billions out of it and doing pretty
I will tell
little.
you, very simple. If you look at our capitalization, we're talking of 25 trillion. What is the percentage of our market capitalization with the GDP? Less than 10%. Go to Europe. Even in South Africa, more than 125% of their GDP is already in the capitalization. Their capitalization is more than $1 trillion. When we are talking of the big company like LNG, like NFEC, they are not there. So you need to get this company quoted. We also take commodity. Today, if you go to areas where they are developed, you will see that you can buy 100 trucks of maize without going to the farm. You just go to commodity. We have Apex. They are just coming. But I believe you, if our agriculture is now into the market, you don't need to go there. Nobody will now buy you. You have the warehouse across the wall. You just go buy a paper. Anytime you want your trucks, if you want 100 trucks, go to me. They will open the warehouse and load you. So by the time we have this, it will go better and better for everybody. So for us, is that our market did not take the large chunk of the capitalization. By the time they take that of it, it will be better. But as long as our capitalization, our GDP is not up to 50% of our GDP, our capitalization, we see that disconnect. But by the time we get connection, most of our companies get listed. I assure you that people will not talk the same.
Thank you very much, Malam Kasimu Kurfi, for that very impassioned delivery over the capital market, which you have devoted a large chunk of your career to.
Thank you.
Viewers, we've come to the end of this edition of 30 Minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television. Keep a date with us.